Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so tonight you are assigned homework to take notes on this video. So I hope you're ready to take some notes. Remember, you can always pause and stop it, rewind it whenever, or replay it whenever you need to. Okay, so what is our goal today? Well, our goal today is solving inequalities. In a later video, we'll talk about the real meaning of an inequality, and actually we use this a lot in real life. But anyways, I'm talking too much, so let me get right down to the basics here. So look at our equation right here. Look at this equation. Again, the only thing different, notice, between this and a regular equation is there's a greater than there. So I misspoke. It's not an equation, it's an inequality, because that's a greater than. That means I want something more than, greater than. Okay? So hopefully we understand that. So how do you solve an inequality? Well, you solve it just like an equation. So, if I have plus 5 right here, how do I get rid of a plus 5? Well, the inverse is minus 5 or negative 5. And I'm going to do a negative 5 over here as well. Let's see what we end up with. X. This, of course, makes 0. So it's gone away, and I just have a greater than. And what's negative 13 and negative 5? That's negative 18. So my answer is x greater than negative 18. So pause the video and make sure you have this written down right now. Okay, so now we have two more inequalities. And I'm going to go a little bit faster now. So let's say if we look at this first one here, it says m minus 9 there, doesn't it? Alright, so think, how do I get rid of an m minus 9? That would be plus 9. Plus 9. So what is my answer? M is greater than or equal to 5. And I just want to point out that don't forget that little line underneath the greater than means equal to. Equal to. Alright? That means it can equal also, right? It could be the same value. Okay, finishing up here, look at the next one here. Follow the green. So here I have a plus 3.7. Now, yes, it's a decimal, but remember, we're allowed to use calculators in class, including the state test now. So we can handle that with our calculators, right? If we need to. Well, how do I get rid of a plus again? I'm going to do a minus, right? So I'm doing a negative 3.7 here. And S will therefore be less than. And 1 minus 3.7 is negative 2.7. And hopefully you know that that right there is what we call a less than. That means smaller than. So pause the video again one more time and make sure you have these two inequalities written in your notes. Okay, now take a look at this one. Wait a minute. What does P over 2 mean right over here? Does everybody understand? P over 2 means P divided by 2. P over 2 is the same as P divided by 2. Divided by 2. So how do we get rid of a divide? Well, I'm going to multiply. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. What does that do? Well, doesn't 2 divided by 2 give me 1p less than or equal to? And 5 times 2 over here is simply 10. So our answer is p less than or equal to 10. Again, pause the video if you need to and jot this fourth inequality down. Okay, so here's our last two inequalities. Okay, and again, notice the first one here means I'm taking negative 3 times x. I'm multiplying by negative 3. How do we get rid of a multiply? What is the inverse? That is to divide. Notice I'm dividing by negative 3, both sides. What does that do? Well, negative divided by negative cancels out the positive. 3 divided by 3 leaves me 1x. And 27 divided by 3 gives me negative 9. Now comes the critical part of the lesson. The only real difference between inequalities and equations is when I divide by a negative. And again, guys, follow the blue here. Did I not divide both sides by negative 3? A negative 3. Okay? Notice the other problem that we did. We had to divide 2 here, so we times by a positive 2. Okay? Well, whenever you're dealing with dividing or multiplying by negative, this greater than has to switch. So greater than becomes less than. Excuse me. And that's the key part of the lesson. We did a switch right here. Alright, finishing up the video. Notice this one is another divide here. So how do I get rid of a divide again? I'm going to multiply. The inverse again of divide is multiply. Notice I'm multiplying by a negative 3. So what's going to happen to this, ladies and gentlemen? That's right, it's going to switch. So finishing up the problem, negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1n. Negative 3 times negative 6 over here is positive 18. Notice my answer is positive. That has nothing to do with why that switched. Okay? Why did we switch? Because whenever you multiply or divide by a negative number, whenever you multiply or divide by a negative number, you have to switch. That is the end of this video, a little bit longer than normal. Sorry for my cough. Alright, so please pause, take good notes, and I'll see you tomorrow in class.